Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of my Kyoto and Nara trip, for which I drew these. Check it out. So here we are in Nara, Japan, riding the... Wait a minute, we gotta go back. Did you see that? Nara, Japan, you funny! The deer park here in Nara is quite popular for tourists because of the hundreds of deer that are wandering around, and you can also buy snacks to feed them. And some of them are very polite, while others are not so much. The deer roam around the temples and shrines, such as Kasuga Taisha and Todaiji Temple. I think I butchered those names well enough. I actually got a few minutes to sit down after sightseeing a little bit and sketch one of my new friends. Hey, do you like that, man? No? That's a no. Hey, what do you think? That's not my... Actually, I kind of knew that was going to happen. Oh, deer poop in the sketchbook. Time to go back to the hotel and take a bath. Oh, that's amazing. Even though some of the deer could get a little bit bitey, it was fun just walking around the park, feeding the deer, getting to pet them, and there were just so many of them running around. It was just such an interesting and unique experience. So drawing inspiration from the temples and shrines, and of course the deer, I'm gonna go for a deer god. For this deer god, we can't give him regular antlers, because that's no fun. We gotta give him fire antlers. Yes! Now, I'm pretty sure neck beards are usually frowned upon for humans, but for a deer god, I think he can pull it off. I'm particularly taking inspiration from the two warriors in the back of the Todaiji Temple, so you can probably compare this sketch to one of those guys. You know, this long, kind of wildly flowing cloth, kind of like it has some kind of like spiritual, godlike powers behind it, pushing it around. I threw down a rough pencil sketch, as I always do, but I didn't like work out any details or anything. I'm really just winging it, mostly. When you're working in a sketchbook like this, and you know, you're trying to find some creativity within yourself to come out, so it's fun to kind of surprise yourself and just kind of see what happens. You know, don't really try to plan it out too much. Just do it. It's just a sketchbook. I definitely like that this channel, ever since I started doing these videos, it's kind of forced me to get back in my sketchbook like this. And for these videos, I definitely try to allow the atmosphere of the places I visit to really inspire me and move my pencil where I think it should go. But to be honest, before I went to Japan, I was looking up some Japanese art, such as the ukiyo-e woodblock prints. that are so traditional and popular. The most famous artist would be Katsushika Hokusai, which, you know, you've probably heard of him. If not, then you've probably seen his work. But of course, don't just look him up. You should look at other ukiyo-e artists, because there's a lot of good stuff out there. You know, I'll be honest, when I saw those statues at the back of the Todaiji temple, to me, I don't know about you, but it kind of looked like they were wearing some kind of, you know, apron, like they're ready to bake some cookies for their kids or something? I don't know. Anybody? No? Just me? Alright, never mind. One of my favorite things to do with just a ball pen is the shading. Like, I just like the effect that it has, especially when I'm shading, like, particularly hair. I love drawing hair, you know, like shading those hooves and that shin guard there. Like, I don't know, there's just something soothing about it. And perhaps what you can't really notice as well in this video, but because it's moving so fast, but I like after I'm shading something, I will rub it with my finger, just kind of blend it a little more. So you'll also see some smudges on the table next to my sketchbook from my smudgy fingers. But of course, if this were like a professional job for somebody else, then I would definitely use a paper underneath my hand to separate my hand from the drawing itself. Well, this deer god is all done, but I think he needs a friend. So I'm just totally gonna rip off the deer character that we saw at the beginning. That you actually saw this little guy pretty much everywhere at the deer park. So I think it's some sort of mascot of the place. Pretty sure. It's like the deer god's little Yoda. On our final day here in Kyoto, we went off to check out the Kiyomitsu-dera temple, but it turned out they were under construction, so we didn't get to see much of it because it was all tarped off. So we headed on over to Fushimi Inari instead. And you'll immediately notice a theme of foxes everywhere. So Fushimi Inari is a park where you'll see rows and rows of these pretty orange shrines that you can walk through, and I felt like I was in some kind of Stanley Kubrick movie. But be careful, because you might get lost. We spent the rest of our evening wandering around the Gion area and doing shopping and eating some food. And the illustration nerd in me geeked out at this Yugo Shimizu animated illustration. Well, anyway. So, of course, I'm going to go with a fox theme, a mask over perhaps a young geisha school dropout. And I thought it was really great to see a lot of young Japanese people walking around in rented kimonos, enjoying the sights themselves. Oops, sorry for my dumb ugly head in the way. I say geisha school dropout because you'll see some of the little like flowers and like jewelry and decorations that would have been in her hair just falling down at the side and just letting her hair down, maybe after a day of entertaining people, such as loud, annoying Americans like me. Again, I'm bouncing back and forth between the pen and the pencil to throw in kind of like a grid of for the design I want to draw in there. Oh, sorry about my stupid head again. I'll get it right eventually. This is actually a design I saw on one of the kimonos that were being sold in the stores. Wood and hair are kind of similar. I enjoy shading them with the ball pen. I don't know. Like I said before, there's something soothing about it. Like those, long strokes, and you get to blend it and smudge it with your finger and rub it on the table. Ha! Don't draw your attention to the missing piece of wood that I forgot to draw at the top middle section of that. So boom, there we have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't been to Kyoto, man, I totally recommend going. It's such a beautiful place. There's so much to see. Man, 4 days cannot fit everything that I wanted to see. And Nara too, of course. We can't forget Nara. Subscribe to these videos if you haven't yet. Some exciting things are happening soon, actually. I'll let you guys in on it in the next few weeks. Visit brandoninman.com to see my other artwork. There's a link to my Instagram as well, so please follow me. And one more thing for these videos, since it is a travel and art channel, I'm pretty sure anybody can submit subtitles for other languages for these videos, so thank you in advance to anyone who can do that. So thanks a lot. I'll catch you guys again soon. That's not so great. Let's see what else is on.